So in our yesterday class, we solved a question, a comprehensive question on the net present value. And I've shared the video with you. I don't know if you have gotten the time to go through the video to ensure that you understand the question. Now we continue from there today. Today, let's quickly look at requirement C, which is a very short requirement anyway, where the question says we should state any 3 relevant assumptions made for our calculation in A and B above. That is what we did not attempt yesterday. Whenever a question asks you for an assumption is what you have applied, your own judgment that you have applied in solving that question. Okay, the judgment you have applied in solving that question are the assumptions you have made. Okay, so right in your solution, you can pick all those assumptions. Right in the solution, you can pick the assumptions. For instance, if I want to pick my assumption here, let's go back to what we have done, and you see how you pick assumptions from your solution. Now, look at this computation we did here. In part A, what did we do? Look at the formula we used to engineer our better of equity of the proxy company. If you look at this formula, you see that the second part of the formula is missing. The second part of the formula will have a better of debt times what? Times market value of debt into bracket 1 minus tax, isn't it? All over market value of equity plus market value of debt, 1 minus tax. This will have been the complete formula we needed to engineer the better of equity of Marine Engineer PSC. However, we did not use this second part of the formula. Why? We did not use it because better of debt was not given in this question. This BD here, which represent better of debt, were not given in the question. So the second part of this formula was not applied. So my number 1 assumption is that beta of debt is 0. Okay, I have assumed for the purpose of this formula that beta of debt is 0. Hence, I did not want to use the second part of the formula. So that's my first assumption that I made in solving this question. So let me remove this. We don't need it. I just use it to explain what we did up there. So let us state our relevant assumptions. Let us state our relevant assumptions. Okay, C. Relevant assumptions. So 1, we assume that debt beta is what? Debt beta, or state it this way. It is assumed that debt is risk-free. Debt is risk-free with a beta of 0. With a beta of 0. With a beta of 0. Okay? With a beta of 0. So what does beta measure? Beta measures what? Risk, right? So if there is no risk attached to a particular item, that beta will be 0. So my assumption here is that the debt here is a riskless debt. So the beta of that debt is what? Is 0. So I'm assuming that since the examiner did not give me beta of debt, then it is assumed that debt is risk-free with a beta of 0. That is 1. 2, all the cash flows that we use. Where's our table? Is it up there? No, it's down. Our solution, that should be example 4, right? This table here, if you look at all these tables from A to Z, all the cash flows that we use, how did you get them? They were estimated cash flows because they are what? They are all future cash flows. Future cash flows are estimates. They are not accurate, isn't it? Future cash flows are just estimates. So our assumption here for us to have used these cash flows is that we are saying that to a reasonable extent, these cash flows have been accurately predicted. So I'm assuming that the cash flows here are what? Have been accurately predicted to a certain extent. That is assumption number 2. That is assumption number 2. So let's go and state it. That's assumption number 2. Where do we have our assumptions? Sorry. That's assumption number 2. 2. It is assumed that the cash flows projections are what? Are accurate. The cash flow projections are what? Are accurate. That is my assumption again. You can see that from where am I picking these assumptions? I'm picking it from my own solution, isn't it? I'm picking it from my own solution. So assumptions are not what you should be racking your brain to get. They are right there in what you have done by yourself. So just look at your solution, look at factors that will affect that what? That solution. So these are your assumptions, okay? So let's go again and see the other assumption we can make. Look at our tax rate. What is the tax rate? 20%, isn't it? We are assuming that this tax rate of 20, we apply right from year 1 and until year 5, the tax rate of 20% will not change. Okay? So that is the assumption. In actual sense, that might not be true, isn't it? Tax rate must have changed from year 1 to year 5. But here I'm saying that my assumption is that the tax rate of 20% we apply all through the 5 years. It is an assumption. Okay? It is what? It is an assumption. So that's assumption number 3. It is assumed that the tax rate of 20% will not change. Will not change all through the 5-year life, all through the 5-year life of the projects. That's another relevant assumption. That's another relevant assumption. Okay? That's another relevant assumption. What other assumption can you pick again? Okay. Let's look at it again. Let us look at it again and see whether we have other assumptions that we can make. Now, in engineering the better of, look at it. What's our proxy company? Our proxy company is what? Is MEPSC. And we are assuming that should KPSC diversify into the production of outboard engine, the business risk of the what? Of the new business will be what? Will be similar or equal to the business risk of MEPSC. Now, in actual sense, the business risk might not be exactly the same. Okay? Even though they're in the same industry, the business risk might not be exactly the same. But what is our assumption here? We are assuming that the business risk of MEPSC is going to be the same as the business risk of what? Of the new business that KPSC want to go into. That is an assumption. So I go there. The question says you should give 3 assumptions. So I'm giving you 4. I'm giving you 4. So it is assumed that the business risk of the proposed business will be the same as the business risk of marine engineer, MEPSC, These are all relevant assumptions, okay? These are how you pick your assumptions from the solution, okay? So you pick your assumption from where? You pick it from the solution that you have provided. Do we have any question on this? Let me move the workings up. So your working should be at the end of your solution. You don't do your working before you start solving, please. Take note. You provide space, enough space for your work, for your solution, then just open to the extreme back. Okay, you can give like 2 pages. Then on the 3rd page, start your workings so that you'll be sure that the space you have left will be what? Will be sufficient enough to contain your solution. That is the approach you should adopt. Let me check my recording, please, to be sure. Okay, recording is 1 minute, please. Okay, the recording is on. The recording is on. So this is the complete solution of example 5, example 4. Okay, that is the complete solution. Now let's go to the next question. Let us go to the next question. The next question is question 6. Question 6. Question 6. CBS Co. CBS Co. CBS Co. Okay, let's go and read the requirement of this question. That's what I told you. I should read the requirement of the question. Required, calculate the NPV of the proposed investment. This question is explicit, okay? It is explicit enough. So directly, you know that we are computing NPV. There's no need for you to start racking your brain here, okay? So let's go and read the requirement. Sorry, the question itself and see the information we have to enable us to solve the question. CBS Co. Is considering a new investment which will start immediately and last for 4 years. The company has gathered the following information. Asset cost, $160,000. Annual sales are expected to be 30,000 units in year 1 and 2. and will then fall by 5,000 units per year in both years 3 and what, and year 4. The selling price in the first year term, the selling price in first year term is expected to be 4.4 per unit, and this is then expected to inflate by 3% per annum. Now, let me tell you this. Look at how the question states this. The selling price in first year term, this is very key. In first year term is very key, very, very key. Because the question has told me that this price is in first year term, that is already the first year selling price. I don't need to do anything to that selling price in the first year. I will use it the way it is given, because the question has told me that it is what? Selling price in first year term. Now, what happens if the question had told me that this selling price is in year 0 term? Are we there? If the question had told me that this selling price is in year 0 term, then I will have started my inflation from year 1. Take note, take note. Anytime a question tells you that this cash flow is in terms of year 0 or in current term, you know, I've given you all those names in our earlier discussion. So that in current term or in year 0 prices. If the question is given in this way, it means you will start inflating the cash flow right from year 1. You will start inflating the cash flow right from year 1. But here, the question has already told me that this selling price is in first year term. So I will not inflate it in year 1. I will start my inflation from year 2. Okay, I will start my inflation from year 2. I believe that is clear. So let us continue. The selling price in first year term is expected to be 4.4 per unit. And this is then expected to inflate by what? By 3% per annum. By 3% per annum. Okay. The variable costs are expected to be 0.7 per unit in current term. Can you see now? In current term, the variable cost is expected to be 0.7 per unit. In what? In current term. You can see that's what I just explained. This is now in current term, not in terms of year 1. It's in current term. And the incremental fixed cost in the first year. In the first year, please, you have to take note of all these terminologies. They are very, very essential.
Sir,
very, very.
Current term, does it mean year 0?
Yes, current term. It means year 0. When they say the cash flow is in current term, it means it is in terms of year 0 prices. So you need to start inflating from year 1. Okay? You need to start inflating from year 1. Now, and the incremental fixed cost in the first year, can you see that? In the first year, I expected to be 0.3 per unit. In current what? Also in current term. Can you see that? The fixed cost is also in current term. Both of these costs are expected to inflate at what? 5%. Now you can see this. We have 3% for selling price. We have 5% for what? For cost. So these are specific what? Specific inflation rates. You know, we made mention of 2 inflation rates, specific and what? And general. And I made mention of the fact that the general inflation rate affects all variables, including cost of capital, isn't it? But the fixed affect individual cash flows, okay? And it does not what? It does not affect your cost of capital. So we are having specific inflation rate so far in this question. Let us continue. The asset is estimated to have a residual value of 40,000 naira in money terms. In money terms. In money terms means it has already been inflated. I mean, don't forget money cash flow and real cash flow. So you have been told that this 40,000 is what? It's a money cash flow. It means it has already been inflated. You don't have to bother yourself inflating it again. The project will require working capital investment equal to 10% of the expected sales revenue. This investment must be in place at the start of each year. You don't need to be told it before you understand that. So it's just an additional statement. The examiner is not under obligation to give you this statement. Working capital is always in place at the beginning of the period. So whether the information is there or not, we start from the beginning of the period. Corporation tax is 30% per annum and is paid 1 year in arrears. So we are paying our tax in arrears. 25% reducing balance, written down allowances are available on the asset. So general inflation rate, can you see that now? We now have general inflation rate. General inflation rate and the real cost of capital is 7%. Sorry, general inflation rate is 1%, and the real cost of capital is 7.7%. And 12,000 has already been spent on initial research. Of course, you just have to. Is that relevant? Is that 12,000 relevant?
No.
No, because it's market research. It has already been spent. It's a sunk cost, so you just have to cross it immediately. So you see that we have general inflation rate and we have a real what? Cost of capital. So this general inflation rate will affect your what? Your cost of, the moment you inflate your cash flows here, the moment you inflate your cash flows here, they become they become nominal cash flow. The moment you inflate them, they become what? Nominal cash flow. And don't forget, for you to discount nominal cash flow, you need what? You need nominal cost of capital. But the cost of capital given to you is what? Is real. So you need to convert this what? This real cost of capital to nominal cost of capital. Then you use it to what? To discount the cash flow. So let us attempt to solve this question. We are going to year 4, year 5. So I should have like a 6. Okay, example 6, right? Example 6, CBS Co. CBS Co. Computation of NPV of the project. Computation of NPV of the project. Computation of NPV of the project. So let me insert my table as usual. 1 year, year 0, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. Yeah. So let me do it that way. So I have my year 0, year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5. The project will go for 4 years, but because our tax is paid in arrears, we get to year 5. Okay, let me copy this. Okay. Okay, so the first one is what? Revenue. And that should be what? Work note 1. Revenue is work note 1. So let's go and do our workings down here. Workings. Okay, 1. Okay, 1 is revenue. Revenue. Let me just bring this one here. Okay. I'm not supposed to have year 0, so I'll remove year 0 from there. Delete entire column. Okay. Okay, so we have the first one is our units. What is the unit? Unit is let's go there. We're told that 30,000 will be produced in the first year, and it will now decline. Okay, in year 1 and 2, and it will now fall by 5% by 5,000 units per year in both year 3 and 4. So it means that in the first year, I'm going to have 30,000. In the second year, I'm going to have 30,000 as well. In the third year, I'm going to have 25,000. And in the fourth year, I'm going to have 20,000. You decrease it by 5,000 from year 3. And then just 4. So that's our unit. That's our unit. Selling price. Selling price, which is what? It's going to increase by 3% from your what? 3% growth from year 2. It's going to start from year 2. So it's going to start from year 2. Let me expand this. From year 2. So we're told that the selling price is what? In year 1, the selling price in year 1 is, what is it? What is the selling price in year 1? 4.4. 4.4. So year 1 will be 4.4. 4.4. Year 2 will now be 4.4 times 1.03. 4.4 times 1.03 will give me 4.53 approximately. 4.53. So times 1.03 again, I will have 4.67. 4.67, then times 1.03 again, I have 4.81. 4.81. These are the selling prices. They are multiply. Let us multiply. Underline this. So we multiply. So revenue in what? In 1,000 naira. Revenue in 1,000 naira. Revenue in 1,000 naira. So 4.4 times 30,000. 4.4 times 30,000 will give us 132,000. 132. Oh, sorry. We are working in 1,000, so all this one should just be 30. Sorry. This one should be 30. We are working in 1,000. So
I wanted to tell you, sir, because in my notes.
You said?
I wanted to tell you about that unit 1,000 that you put there.
You didn't tell me eventually.
In my notes, it's not like that.
So thank you. 4.53 times 30 will be 135.9. 135.9. 25 times 4.67 will be 116.75. 116.75. And the last one is 20 times 4.81. And that gives us 96.20. 96.20. 96.20. Let me put that as point what? 0.00 to make it the same. So These are the selling revenues. Let me remove all this. Let me remove all this. I don't need them. Delete the entire row. Okay. So let me put this one in bold. I put it in bold, then I put double underline. So these are the revenues we have. These are the revenues that we have. Save that. So I copy this revenue to my solution. Let's go there. These are the revenue. I remove the bold and what? And the underline. Okay. So here, nothing. Nothing is here. So the next one is what? Variable cost, right? I'm going to pick my variable cost. Variable cost. Let me just put it as VC. Okay, that's fine. Variable cost will be working 2. Working 2, variable cost. Working 2. So let's go there. Now we are told that our variable cost is what? Our variable cost, the variable cost I expected to be 0.7 per unit in current term. In current term. So our inflation should start from year 0. Okay. So what will I do? I just come in under my working notes, put this as work notes 2, variable cost, copy and paste. Work notes 2, variable cost. Variable cost. Now, unit is the same, but now we now have VC. VC. My VC is not going from year 2. It will start in year 1 because it is what? It is in real term. So 0.7 times 1.05 raised to power n. That's what I'm going to do. Raised to power n. Raised to power n. N represents the number of years. So in the first year, I'm going to have 0.7, that is 1.05 times 0.7. I will have 0.74 approximately. What's happening here? Sorry. What's happening to you? Close this. Okay. So I have 0.74 approximately, 2 decimal places. So for the second year, I will have 1.05 raised to power of 2 times 0.7, and that will give me 0.77. 0.77. In the third year, I will have 1.05 raised to power of 3. Raised to power of 3. Sorry. 1.05 raised to power of 3 times 0.7. And that is giving me 0.81. 0.81, and the last one will be raised to power 4. Raised to power 4. 1.05 raised to power 4 times 0.7. That will give me 0.85. 0.85. Please ensure you understand all this we are doing. Okay, these are the principles you need to understand in order to crack SFL. These are the principles you need to understand. It's not more than this. It's not more than this. Okay, so 22.2, year 1. Year 2 will be what? In year 2, we should have 30 times 0.77. So that is 23.1, 23.1. So we have 25 times 0.81. That is 20.25, 20.25. And the last year we have 20 times 0.85, and that is 17.0. 17.00. So these are the variable costs. These are the variable costs. I copy them, go there, put them in my solution. These are the variable costs. These are the variable costs. Now, because they are what? Because they are costs. So I put them in what? In brackets. I put them in brackets because they are all costs. Put them in brackets. Oh. So the next one is what? Fixed cost. Fixed cost. So what is the information we have on fixed cost? Sorry. So fixed cost in the first year are expected to be 0.3 per unit in current term as well. So the same thing that applies to variable cost, we apply to fixed cost. So let me go and state my work note 3. I copy exactly what is in. The only thing that will change is what? Is the fact that this one is 0.3 and this one is a fixed cost. So work note 3, fixed cost. Fixed cost. So this is going to be 0.3. So let's change it. 0.3 now. We now have let me move this one down so that will be easy to trace. So I'm going to have so sorry, I just needed to quickly pick that call. And it was an important call. So we have 0.3 times 1.03. That will be 0.31 approximately. We have 0.31. Hope you are following me, please. Ensure you're also using your calculator so that we'll be on the same page. 0.3 times 1.05. 0.3 times 1.05. 0.31. So is it 0.3 or 0.32? It's 0.32. Can you confirm that figure? That's what I should be doing it so that I won't be mistake. So the next one will be 0.33. And 1.05. Yes, 0.35, 0.35, and the last one is going to be times 1.05 is going to be 0.36. Are the figures correct? Did you get the same thing? Did you get the same thing? So let us multiply. 0.32 times 30 will give me 9.6, 9.60. 30 times 0.33 will give me 9.90. 25 times 0.35, 25 times 0.35 will give me 8.75, 8.75. And the last one is 20 times 0.36. That gives me 7.20. These are the fixed costs. These are the fixed costs. These are the fixed costs. So let's go and post it there. So all these are costs. I put them in brackets. So let me remove the underline and bold. Fixed cost, note fixed. That's a work note, work note 3. Okay. We are progressing. Any other cost that we have not picked and that we need in order to get our profits? Not yet. No other cash flow. So we can call this our what? Operating profit. Operating profit. So let's get our operating profit here. Let us get our operating profit. Operating profit will be in year 1, I have 132 minus 22.2 minus 9.6. I have 100.2. 100.2. And in year 2, I have 135.9 minus 23.1 minus 9.9. I have a 102.9. 102.9. 102.9. Next one is 116.75 minus 20.7, 20.25. 20.25 minus 8.75. We have our what? 87.75. 87.75. And the last year is 96.2 minus 17 minus 7.2. That is 72. Is that correct? Let me do it again. I don't trust that figure.
Correct, sir.
It's correct.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 17.00. Okay, so these are the operating profits. I need to sort my tax, Abby. And don't forget that for you to sort your tax, you need to face the dot capital allowance. That's the principle I taught you. So let me insert more rows. Let me insert more rows. Okay, this should be sufficient now. So capital allowance, we have to deduct our work capital allowance. That's work note 4. Work note 4. Capital allowance. Let me just shorten you so that this will continue. Capital allowance. Work note 4. Now let's go and read the information on our capital allowance. Well, do we have that information? Okay, I think it should be down. Okay, 25% reducing balance. Writing down allowances are available on the asset cost. So 25% weighted than allowance. Now, the residual value, look at the residual value. The question did not tell you after tax, Abby. Don't forget the principle I explained yesterday. The company did not say the residual value is after tax. So if it is not stated after tax, you have to compute your balancing adjustment. Don't forget. But if it is stated after tax, you don't need to compute balancing adjustment. So we go. What is the cost of the machine? I think 60,000, right? 160,000. So let's go and compute our capital allowance. Let's go and compute our capital allowance. Let me see what to do. That should be note 4. Capital allowance. Capital allowance. Okay. I have here, okay. Let's go and insert table. I have my year cost / weighted value capital allowance. Okay, just 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 years as well. So this okay. This okay. So I have my year. I have my year here. Year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. And here I have my cost / tax written down value. Now I have my capital allowance at what? Capital allowance at 25%. Capital allowance at 25%. So in year 1, the asset at the beginning of year 1, the asset cost is 160,000. And we are going to charge what? 20% capital allowance. So 0.25 times 160 will be what? 40. 40,000. 40,000. So the tax resident value at the beginning of year 2 will be 160 minus 140. That's 120,000. So 120,000 times 25% should be what? Should be 30,000. Am I correct? Should be 30,000. So in the next year, it's going to be 90,000 tax resident value. So that 90,000 times 0.25. 0.25 times 90,000 will give me 22,500. 22. So in the last year, 90,000 minus 22,500 will give me what? Will give me 67,500. 67,500. 67,500. So times 0.25 will give me 16,875. 16,875. This is how to compute your capital allowance on a reducing balance basis. This capital allowance on reducing balance basis. There is a shorter way. I don't want to bore you with that because it's a bit, though it's short, but it's a bit confusing. It's a bit confusing. I can just explain it in case you want it anyway. For instance, you know, if I want to do tax savings, this is what? Our tax rate is 20%, right? Or let me tell you, let me do it this way. Don't even let me do tax saving. This is 40%, Abby, in year 1. And my capital allowance is what? It's 25%. It means if my capital allowance, it means my capital allowance will be reducing by what? 25%, right? So anything that is reducing by 25% will reduce to what? It should reduce to 75. So it should reduce to 25%. That is 100 minus 25. So if I want to get the capital allowance for year 2, I can simply say 0.75 times 40,000. What will you have? You have 30,000. If I want to get capital allowance for year 3, I will say 30,000 times 0.75. I get what? 22,500. If I want to get capital allowance for year 4, I will say that 22,500 times what? 0.75. I get what? 68.75. So that is another very short approach. The way you get your year 1 capital allowance, just be multiplied by what? The reduced amount. So if an item is reduced by 25%, it should reduce to 75%. So 75% of 40, 75% of 30, 75% of 22,500 will give you the capital allowances. So I will copy this. 40, 30, 22,500. 40,000. 40,000. Sorry, just 40 because we're working in 1,000. And here is going to be what? 30. That's going to be 30. Here is going to be 22.5. 22.5. And the last one is what? Can you give me the figure for the last one? 16 point what?
0.9.
Eh?
16.9 is 16,875. So 16 point approximately.
88.
Okay.
To maintain your what? Maintain your 2 decimal places. Don't forget that we have been using 2 decimal places. So you have to maintain that. Don't use 1 decimal place for one, and you are using 100 decimal place for the other. So maintain the same figure or unit of measurement. Now, don't forget, I just put this one. This one is still going to change because we are going to compute. Don't put this one there yet. Okay, this one here, don't write it yet because it's going to change. We are going to compute balancing adjustment, Abby. So our balancing adjustment is going to affect that year 4 capital allowance. So let's go and compute our balancing adjustment. Balancing adjustment. Balancing adjustment. Balancing adjustment. So what is the tax written down value? Tax written down value is 67,500 minus 16,875 minus 16,875 minus 16,875. So that will give us what? That's the balancing value at the end of year 4. So 67,500 minus 16,875. That gives us 50,625. 50,625. What about the sales proceed? The sales proceed is 40,000. 40,000. So what has happened? What is this balancing charge or balancing allowance? Who can tell me?
Allowance.
Is this going to be balancing allowance? Good. This is going to be balancing allowance. So balancing allowance. So balancing allowance of 10,625. 10,625. That's the balancing allowance. Now, this balancing allowance will increase my what? Let me change this. This will change my what? 10,625, Abby. 10,625 should be, okay, let me check again. 10.625. So we can say 10.63. So 10.63 plus 10.63 plus 16.88 plus 16.88 should give me what? 27.51. That's why I said don't write that one yet, because it's going to affect the last figure. 27.51, 27.51, 27.51. So that is our capital allowance for the total capital allowance for year 4. Now we can now compute our profit. What is our taxable profit? What's our taxable profit? Okay, taxable profit. Taxable profit will be 100.25. This 60.25. 60.25 profit. This one will be minus 30. That should be 72.9. 72.9. And here is going to be 87.75 minus 22.5. That is 65.25. 65.25. 65.25. We have 17 minus 27.5. 27.51. That's what? 10.51. Negative, right? 10.51 negative. $10.51 negative. Okay. Now, what's our tax rate? Tax at what percentage? Tax at, what's the percentage tax rate? 30%. Tax at 30%. Tax at 30%. So 60.25, 60, yeah?
The operating profit for year 4 is 72.
For year 4. Not 17, right?
Not 17, 72.
72, exactly 72.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, 72. So 72 minus 72 minus 27.5 minus 25. That is 44.5. 44.5. That should be profit there. 44.50. 44.50. So our tax is paid a year in arrears, Abi. A year in arrears. So we have 60.25 times 0.3. That is 18.08. That will be paid in year 2. 18.08 to be paid in year 2. And it's going to be an outflow. So it should be within brackets. It should be within bracket. The next one is a bracket 72.9. 72.9 times 0.3. That's what? 21.87. 21.87. The next one is 65.25. 65.25 times 0.3, which is 19.58. 19.58. And that's going to be outflow as well. And the last one is what? The last one, 44.5 times point what? Times 0.3 is 13.35. 13.35. So we have gotten our taxes now, Abi. We have gotten our taxes. Now we need to go and add back the capital allowance. Add back, because we have already gotten the taxes, add back capital allowance. So let me add back all this capital allowance. Year 1 is 40, 40.00. Year 2 is 30.00. Year 3, 22.50. Year 4, 27.51. 27.51. So here, nothing. Okay, so we've sorted our taxes. The next thing is to bring in the what? The outlay assets. The asset we are told is going to be 160. Put the 160 there. 0.00. 160.00. Okay. About this one. Capital allowance come. Okay, let's shorten it. Capital allowance. So 160.00. All others, nothing. Nothing here. Now, scrap value. Scrap value is 40, right? Scrap value is 40. We have everything here. So here I have my 40. Scrap value is an inflow, so it should be treated as a positive cash flow. It should be treated as positive cash flow. Okay. So we have this. Now, next one is working capital. Working capital. Okay, let me call this working. That should be 5, right? Okay, 5. Yes, that's correct. A minute. Okay. Working capital. I'll just put it as WC. Okay, don't worry. Let me reduce the other one. Let me reduce the font. Okay. So we are perfectly okay now. It should be centralized. So working capital will be note 5. Let's go and pick the information on our working capital. Information on working capital. The project will require working capital investment equal to 10% of the expected sales revenue. So our working capital is 10% of expected sales. Let's go and do that. So what will I do? I just copy my expected sales revenue here. Let me put this, sorry. Let me just do this straight. Working capital. Note 5. Working capital. So what will I do? I will remove all this. I remove all this. I bring in my revenue. I bring in my revenue. So I remove this from underline and bold. So percentage working capital is what? The percentage working capital. The percentage of working capital is 10%. Okay, instead of that, why wasting my time? Don't let me waste my time. Let me just underline it here and just put a total working capital at 10%. It's better that way. Total working capital at 10%. At 10% of revenue. At 10% of revenue. At 10% of revenue. So 10% of 132. 10% of 132 is 13.2. 10% of 135.9 is 13.59. 10% of 116.0 is 11.675, 11.68 approximately, 11.68. And this is going to be 9.62. 9.62. Let me remove on the line from there. Okay. Let me add one more year here to the right. So let me call this year 5. This is not enough for you. Okay. Okay, so let me add year 5. I'm going to explain the reason why I have that year 5. Okay. Let me also add a row down. Now, here I should have my incremental working capital. Yesterday, before we computed our working capital, in the one we did yesterday, before we computed this working capital, we computed increase in revenue. If you remember, we computed incremental revenue before we computed our working capital. And I told you then that the moment your working capital is based on incremental revenue, that working capital is already what? Is already incremental working capital. But look at what we are doing today. Today now, we did not compute incremental revenue. We are using the revenue in total. Yes, sir. We are using the total revenue. So it therefore means that we need to compute incremental working capital. So incremental working capital is from here now. The first year working capital is what? 13.2. There's no increment because that was the first year. Okay? The first year, that's the first year working capital. Okay? Now, from 13.2 in year 2, working capital increased to what? 13.559. What is the increment? So 13.59 minus 13.2. That's what? An increment of 0.39. Now, where you have increment, it should be treated as an outflow. Where it increases, it should be treated as what? As an outflow. So I have 0.39 increments. 0.39 increments. Next is another increment again, 11.68 minus 13.59 will give me 1.91. That's another increment, 1.91 increment. Okay. And in year 4, what has happened? In year 3, my working capital was what? 11.68. But in year 4, it is what? 9.62. What has happened? Working capital has decreased. Can you see that? The working capital has decreased. So where you have your working capital decreased.
Hello,
yeah.
Sir.
Yes,
the working capital decreased too for year 3. Okay.
Oh, thank you. It was a decrease. So this was supposed to be positive.
Positive, yeah.
It's positive. So it decreased further in year 4, Abi, by what? 11.68 minus what? 9.62. And that's what? 2.06, Abi? 2.06 positive. So where your working capital decreases, you treat it as an inflow. Where it increases, you treat it as an outflow. Now, the rule is this. Whatever working capital you have injected in this business, it is expected that you recover it at the end of the project. So look at it. The addition of the what? The addition of the negative cash flow must be equal to the addition of what? Of the positive. Whatever you have as the negative, you need to recover it. Now, let's calculate the total negative we have here. 13.2 plus what? Plus 0.39. We have 13.59. What about the positive? 1.91 plus 2.06, which is 3.97. So it means we still have balance to recover, Abi. Are you there? So this one is, the total inflow is 3.59. Why the total outflow is what? Let me compute it again. 13.2 plus 0.39 is what? 13.59. 13.59. So what I will say here, it means I have not recovered up to 30.59. Out of 30.59 working capital that I injected in the business, I have only recovered what? 3.59. So I need to recover the balance. What's the balance? The balance is 30.59 minus 3.59. The balance is 10. The balance is 10. So I have my 10 here. Now, the question you will ask me is, this project is not going to year 5 now. Why am I recovering working capital in year 5? I'm not recovering working capital in year 5. Look at what is happening. I've told you that this working capital, you know, is a year 1 working capital, right? The working capital for year 1 must be put into the business at the beginning of year 1. What is the beginning of year 1? Beginning of year 1 is year 0. So this one is going to be injected in year 0. The beginning of year 2 is year 1. The beginning of year 3 is year 2. The beginning of year 4 is year 3. The beginning of year 5 is year 4. So this is the year due. This is the year where you are going to treat this working capital. Okay? That's the year you are going to treat the working capital. So what will I do? I will copy this working capital here. I go and put it in the what? Yeah.
For the incremental working capital, I think the normal way that I know is the way they used to treat the last one, the year 5. They used to bring the last figure, like the year 4 one. It's supposed
This
to,
one.
yes, no, the 9.6 should be what should be the incremental for year 5. 9.6.
It's not the reason why you don't have that, being here is negative. Here is also negative. You understand?
Okay.
The last one automatically will be what? Will be equal to the other ones.
Okay. Good.
But here, we already have plus here. We have plus here. So the last one can no longer be up to 9.6.
Okay, I understand now.
Do you understand now?
Yes, sir.
So it's not a static computation. It follows the principle here is what I'm going to follow.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Please repeat how we got to that 10.
The what?
The 10, the incremental working capital, how we got 10. Repeat
Okay, how we got the 10?
What you said. Repeat that thing you said
now,
about the
look at it. Add this one and this. 30.2 plus 0.39 will give you what? Write it down. Have you written it? You notice that the two negative figures there, Abby? Also come and add the two positive figures here. We give you what? Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you know that I said whatever you put, the negative figure here is the working capital, the total working capital you have injected in the business. That is what? That is what is represented by the negative figure. What you have recouped, what you have gotten back so far is what is represented by what? By the positive figure here. And I told you that when the project ends, you must get back all the working capital you have put in the business. So if you put this one in the business and you have only gotten this one back, what is the balance you need to recoup? Is 10. So that when you add 1.91 plus 2.06 plus 10, you should have 30, it should be equal to 30.2 plus 0.39. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
30.2 plus 0.39 is 30.59. So it should be equal to all this. If you add this also, it should be 30.59. So that's how we got that. So let's copy this and put it in our table. Working capital, we start from year 0. So remove the underline here. Okay. Let me change the font to be the same. I think I use for 11.5. I didn't use it across board. Okay. Now, we now bring our discount factor into add again. Okay. Discount factor here. Sorry, before discount factor, we need to get our net cash flow first. Sorry. What's our net cash flow? Net cash flow. Let's get our net cash flow. This is going to be 173.2. Year 0. 173.2 for year 0. Year 1 is going to be 60.25. 60.25 plus 40 minus 0.39. Yes, that's 99.86. 99.86. 99.86. The next one is 72.9. 72.9 minus 18.08 plus 30 plus 1.91. So that's giving me 86.73, 86.73, 86.73. So this one is 65.25, 65.25 minus 21.87 plus 22.5 plus 2.06 of 67.94, 67.94. And here is 44.5, 44.5 minus 19.58, 19.58 plus 27.51 plus 40 plus 10. Sorry, my calculator went off. 44 points. Are you computer? What do you have?
102.4.
102 point what?
42.
42. So this one will now be 13.35. These are the net cash flow. These are the net cash flow. So DCF at what percent? That's the question. Now, let me ask you, all these cash flows that we have here, what is the name we call them? What type of cash flow do we have here? What type of cash flow do we have here in this table? If you can identify it, then you cannot discount. What type of cash flow do you have here?
Money and free cash flow.
Ma?
So
Talk now.
it's free cash flow. So we have to convert it to money in money terms.
Okay, we have not converted it, have you?
I think it should be real cash flow.
It's money. We have inflated them now. You see that we have applied inflation rate on them.
Okay, it's money cash flow. So we can go ahead and use it now.
So we have inflated our revenue. We have inflated our variable cost. We have inflated our fixed cost. You understand? So they are what? They are money cash flows. So what discount factor, what discount rate do we need to discount them? What discount rate do we need? Mrs. Angela, you are reading from your notes. I catch you. I catch you.
Capital, that is 7.7%.
Okay, that's 7.7%. Is it real or nominal?
It's real.
So what's the principle I told you?
That if it is real, you have to use real
Cost of capital.
real
But
cost
here
of-
is nominal. You understand now?
Yes.
Here now it is nominal. It is not appropriate to go and use that 7.7 because the 7.7 is real. Do you understand now? My cash flow is nominal, so I need nominal cost of capital. I cannot use that 7.7.
Okay.
So I need to convert the 7.7 to what? To nominal.
Nominal. Okay, to be in line.
So that it be nominal.
Nominal. Okay, get it now.
Good. You can see why I always like to ask you questions, so that by the time I ask you, if you answer those questions, if you break within an equality, it will be part of you. So let's go and convert. We need to compute nominal cost of capital. That's note 6. Nominal cost of capital. The real cost of capital is, let me shift it down. The real cost of capital is equal to 7.7%. 7.7%. And I told you that cost of capital will only be affected by general inflation rate. Abi, what is the general inflation rate? General inflation rate is 4%. That's the general inflation rate. So using Fisher's equation, I want to compute nominal. So nominal cost of capital is equal to nominal cost of capital is equal to 1 plus real cost of capital into 1 plus inflation rate minus 1. So money cost of capital will be equal to 1 plus 0.077 close times 1 plus 0.04 close bracket minus 1. So money cost of capital is equal to 1.077 into bracket 1.04 close bracket minus 1. This will give me my money cost of capital. So press your calculator. We have 1.077 times 1.04 minus 1 times 100. That's 12.1%, Abby, approximately 12%. That's the cost of capital you need. That is the nominal cost of capital. So I pick that cost of capital, I use it to discount my cash flow here. So 12%. 12% year 0 is 1.000. Year 1, 1.12 raised to power minus 1. 1.12 raised to power minus 1. 0.893. Excuse me, please. Then raised to power minus 2. 0.797. Raised to power minus 3. 0.712. Raised to power minus 4. 0.636. Raised to power minus 5. 0.567. 0.567. 0.567. So we cannot get our present value. We can get our present value. What are the present values? Present value is equal to 173.2, 173.200. Okay, year one, 99.86, 99.86 times 0.893. That's 89.17. 89.17. 86.73 times 0.797. 69.12. 69.12. 67.94 times 0.712. That's 48.37. 48.37. 102.42 times 0.636. 65.14. 65.14. 13 points. Okay, yeah, correct. 13.35 times 0.567. That is a 7.57. 7.57 negative. 7.57 negative. So what is the NPV? What is the NPV? NPV will be equal to, add all the positive figures, 89.17 plus 69.12 plus 48.37 plus 65.14 will be 270.8 minus 7.57 minus 173.2. I have 91.03. That is 91,000. 91,000. Am I correct? Please confirm. 91,000 and what?
Yes, sir.
91,000 and what?
030.
030,000. This is the NPV, positive. So the conclusion will be what? Conclusion. The NPV of the project is positive. 91,030,000. Therefore, the project should be accepted. The project should be accepted. So that is example 6. Any question on this before we go to the next one? Any question on this? Let me see whether 12 will do. Yeah, 12 is still okay. Shall we continue? Okay, let's go to the next question. Let us go to the next question. Example 7. I told you on Monday that 2 classes we should meet up with my physical students. And you can see now, this is the last question to meet up with them. The way we solve this, we are on the same level with FCA students. But the only problem I will have with you now is I don't know. Anyway, let me see. Don't worry. I will see what to do. I will. You see my hand very soon, because I need to confirm that we are together on this platform. I'm not just continue to teach without being able to assess your understanding. So let's look at the requirement of this question and solve it quickly. For this question, okay, no, let me do that. We are going to solve everything. I wanted to do one and leave the other one for you, but no, I won't do that. So that we can compare 2 projects. The previous NPV we have computed is just for one project. This one now is for 2 different projects. We want to make a choice between 2 different projects here. So required, estimate the expected net present value of each of investment in a gas fuel power station and investment in a nuclear fuel power station. State clearly any assumption that you make. Note, it is recommended that annuity tables are used where possible. B, discuss other information that may assist the decision process. C, an external advisor has suggested that the discount rate for the cost of decommissioning the nuclear power station should be adjusted because of their risk. Discuss whether or not this discount rate should be increased or what, or decreased. Now, we should be able to complete A today, so that we know that we just need level B and C. Let's see. Let's try and complete A today, because it's a bit a technical question. So let's go and read the question. Abida PSC. Abida PSC.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Sorry.
Yes.
Please.
I can hear you.
Sorry for taking you back. This last question, I did not get that 91 something. I've done it 2 times.
That NPV, Abi?
Yes, sir. I was getting 90.
Look at add 89.17 to 69.12 to 48.37 to 65.14. Did you do that? What do you have for that?
I'm coming. 65.14. I got 271.8.
Okay, write it down. Now, 173.2 plus 7.57. These are the 2 negative figures there. What do you have?
80.77. 180.77.
So take away that 180.77 from the one you earlier got. Where's the result?
Okay, 91.03. Okay. I think I made a mistake that's 13.35 times 1.
Okay, you added, maybe you mistakenly added that 7.57 as part of the positive value.
No, I made a mistake.
Okay, let us continue.
Okay.
Abida PSC is an electricity supplier in the UK. The company has historically generated the majority of its electricity using a coal fuel power station. But as a result of the closure of many coal mines and depleted coal resources, is now considering what type of new power station to invest in. Now, what's the problem here? This company has been using what? Coal to generate electricity. You need to understand the background to this question. This company has been using coal to generate electricity in the UK. Now, because coal is going into extinction, the company is now thinking of alternative power supply. Now, the company is considering what? Either to start using gas or to start using nuclear what? Nuclear fuel. These are two different projects. Gas is different from nuclear. So these are two different industries. Okay? Now, both types of power stations are expected to generate annual revenue at current prices. Take note. At current prices of what? 800 million. The expected operating life of both types of power station is 25 years. Now, look at it. Presently, we're in coal, Abby. Presently, we are using coal. If we switch to gas, our business risk has changed because we have moved to another industry. Abby, if we switch to nuclear, our business risk has also changed because we have moved to another industry. Please, this is another very important question, an examinable question, please. A likely question in your exam. Take note. So, both projects are expected to generate revenue at current prices of what? 800 million. The expected operating life of both type of power station is 25 years. Financial estimate. Let's look at the financial estimate. Building cost, 600 for gas, 3,300 for nuclear. Annual running costs at current prices. Annual running costs at current prices. So we have labor costs, 75 for gas, 20 for nuclear. Gas purchases, 500 for gas, nothing for what? For nuclear. Nuclear purchases, nothing for gas, 10 for nuclear. Sales and marketing expenses, 40. Customer relations, 5 for gas, 20 for nuclear. Interest expense, 51 for gas, 330 for nuclear. Other cash outlay, 5 for gas, 25 for nuclear. Accounting depreciation, 24 for gas, 132 for nuclear. Okay, other information. Whichever power station is selected, electricity generation is scheduled to commence in what? In 3 years' time. That's problem number one that can give you an issue if you have not seen this question before and you just come across it in your exam. Let us assume that we are presently in January 2021. Let's say we are in January 2021. And I now tell you that I'm going to commence operation of my business in 3 years' time. Let me come again. We are in January 2021, assumption. We are in January 2021, and I tell you that, oh, I have a business, but the business will commence operation in 3 years' time. Please, what date do you think my 3 years' time will be? What date do you think my 3 years' time will be? From January 2021, my business want to commence in 3 years' time. That 3 years' time should be when? What should be the starting date for that 3 years' time? Oh, yeah. We don't know. Okay. 1 year time will be when? Will be January 2022. True or false? 2 years time will be January 2023. 3 years time will be January 2024. So it means I want my business to commence operation from January 2024. Do you understand? Now, the same principle apply here. If the question says electricity generation will start in 3 years' time, so it will start at the beginning of year 4. I will start generating electricity from the beginning of year 4. Beginning of year 4 is the end of what? Is the same thing as end of year 3. So the moment year 3 ends, my project will start. And the moment year 3 ends, year 4 will begin. So the first year of my business will be what? Will be year 4. Do you understand this? The first year of the business will be year 4. So the implication of this is that the project will start in year 4. The project will start in year 4. But the question has told you that the project will last for how many years? It will last for 25 years. So if a project starts in year 4 and it lasts for 25 years, so that will be how many years in total from now? It will be 28 years in total, because the first 3 years, the project will not start. The project will start in year 4, and it will not last for what? For 25 years. So that is in total year 1 to 28. Okay, year 1 to 28. But my revenue and running costs will start from year 4 to 28. Did you understand this? If you don't understand this, I won't proceed. You have to understand that.
Sorry,
Because
face.
you said?
I can't see your face. That face is dark.
Oh, you can see my screen. My screen is much more important than my face.
What to see
your
reaction?
You said?
Your
okay, let me change.
Questions to matters.
Let me change my location then. Let me change my location. I'm coming.
So never mind, go ahead. We're in Nigeria. I understand. So we can't hear you. Need to unmute.
Okay, the project will go for what? The project will go for year 4 to 28, Abby. The project will go for year 4 to 28, because the first 3 years, there will not be operation. No operation for the first 3 years. The first year of operation will be year 4, beginning of year 4. Now, if gas is used, most of the workers at the existing coal fire station can be transferred to the new power station. The coal that we want to move from, we have staff there. If we want to move to what? To gas. If we want to move to gas, we are going to what? Move some staff from the coal to the gas power station. And those staff that will be laid off, we will pay what? We will pay redundancy cost. We will pay redundancy cost. And the redundancy cost is expected to be 4 million naira. And we are going to pay the redundancy cost in year 4. Okay? We are going to pay the redundancy cost in year 4. If nuclear power is selected, fewer workers will be required. And after tax redundancy cost will total 36 million, also in year 4. Let us continue. Note 4. So note 3, both projects will be financed by Euro bond issues denominated in what? In Euro. The gas power station will require a bond issued at 8.5% per year. The bond for the nuclear project will be at 10%, reflecting the impact on financial gearing of a large bond issue. So this information here, note 3, is on cost of debt. It's on cost of debt. What the question is simply telling you that cost of debt for the gas is 8.5%. Cost of debt for nuclear is 10%. That is the simple information there. All the stories there. That is what they want to pick. So cost of building the new power station will be payable in 2 equal installments in 1 and 2 years' time. You see that? So the cost of the building, we pay one in year 1, we pay the other one in year 2. 1 year time is what? Is end of year 1. 2 years time is end of year 2. Because now, when we say now, our now is year 0. So if now is year 0, 1 year from now is end of year 1. 2 years from now is end of year 2. The existing coal-fired power station will need to be demolished at a cost of 10 million after tax in 3 years' time. Now, 3 years' time now will be that year 1, year 2, year 3. End of year 3 is when we are going to demolish the what? The coal. Okay? Let us continue. Note 6, the company's equity beta is expected to be 0.7 if the gas station is chosen and 1.4 if the nuclear station is chosen. Gearing, which is debt to equity plus debt, is expected to be 35% with gas and 60% with nuclear fuel. The risk-free rate is 4.5% per year, and the market return is 14% per year. Inflation is currently 3% per year in the UK, and an average of 5% per year in the member countries of Eurobloc in the European Union. So what we are saying here is that this project will be undertaken in which country? In the UK. So it's going to be affected by inflation rate in UK. It will not be affected by inflation rate of the euro because the project is not in Europe. The project is in UK. Corporate tax is at the rate of 30% payable in the same year that the liability arises. Tax allowable division is at the rate of 10% per year on a state line basis. Now let me explain this. Our tax, our depreciation or capital allowance is what? Is 10%. If you are charging 10% capital allowance every year, how many years will it take you to what? To claim the capital allowance 100%. How many years will it take you? You are claiming 10% every year. How many years will it take you to finish the claim of what? Capital allowance. I need answers from you. We don't know. You are claiming 10% capital allowance every year. In 10 years, you must have claimed 100% now. 10 times 10. So in 10 years, you must have claimed what? You must have claimed 100% capital allowance. Therefore, it means that your capital allowance will go for just 10 years. Your capital allowance will go for just 10 years. And don't forget that the project has how many years? The project has 25 years life. So the capital allowance will only be for the first 10 years of the project. The remaining 15 years will not have capital allowance because capital allowance is 10%. And if you are claiming 10%, in 10 years, you must have claimed 100% capital allowance. So it is the first 10-year life of the project that will enjoy capital allowance. The remaining 10 years, sorry, the remaining 15 years will not enjoy capital allowance. Take note of that as well. Number 10, At the end of 25 years of operation, the gas plant is expected to cost 25 million after tax to demolish and clean up the site. Cost of the commissioning the nuclear plant are much less certain and could be anything between 500 million and 1,000 million after tax, depending upon what form of disposal is available for nuclear waste. So, estimate the expected net present value of the project. Now, let's go and solve this question. Example 7. Example 7, Abida. So, A, computation of expected NPV. Computation of expected NPV. Computation of expected NPV. Okay. Now let's start with gas. Let's start with gas. We want to compute NPV for gas. Now, this project, we have this. I mean, insert table. Okay, I make it 3. The first part, the project will start in 4 years, at the beginning of the 4 year, at the beginning of the next 4 years. So, and I told you that capital allowance will be for the first what? For the first 10-year life of the project. It therefore means that counting from year 4, we are counting year 4, year 5, year 6, year 7, year 8, year 9, year 10, year 11, year 12, year 13. So the part of this project that will enjoy capital allowance is year 4 to 13. The remaining part, which is from year 14 to what? To year 28, will not enjoy capital allowance. The reason why I divided this period into 2 is just because of capital allowance. Capital allowance is only for the first 10 years. So I need to what? I need to divide the period between first 10 years and the remaining years. The first 10 years is year 4 to 13. The remaining 15 years is from year 4 to 15. So we are working in millions this time around. We are working in millions. We are working in millions. Okay, so let's now go and start picking our information one by one. The first one we have there, the first one we have is our revenue. We have our revenue. Revenue we are told is going to be 800, whichever project is selected. Our revenue is going to be 800 million. So 800 million. Now, we now have to come and let us underline this. This is our total revenue. Now, what can you notice here? You will notice that I'm not using the inflation rate of 3% because it is general. It is a general inflation rate. It will affect all my what? All my cash flows and my cost of capital. So what will I do? It is easy for me to convert cost of capital to nominal. Therefore, for me to be converting all my cash flow to what? To nominal. So that's the reason why I'm maintaining all my cash flows in what? In real. After computing my net cash flow in real, I will now go and convert my what? My cost of capital to real as well. It is easy to convert cost of from real to nominal, from nominal to real, than for you to be converting your what? All your cash flows. So what I will tell you is, where you have all the cash flows and cost of capital be subject to general inflation rate alone, please just leave your cash flows in real and go and convert your cost of capital to what? To real. It is easier that way. That will not waste your time. So let's go and pick our cost. What are the costs we have here? Cost. I think the first one is labor. Let me go and check. I have my, we should be giving this cost so that I will not be going back and forth. We have labor of 75, gas at 500. 75, 500, labor. Labor is 75. Gas is 500. 500, 500. So these gas purchases. So what's the next one? We have sales and marketing, 40-40. Sales and marketing. Sales and marketing. You see that I'm not inflating the cash flow at all. Sales and marketing, we have 40, we have 40. Next. Next one is customer relations, 5. Customer relations, we have 5, 5. Okay, I think I need to insert more. I need to insert more below. 1 minute, please. Let me insert as many distance as possible so that we can have okay, I think this should be enough. This should be enough, if not in excess. So customer relation is 5, 5. After customer relation, what do we have? We have interest. And I've already told you that interest is not relevant, Abby. This interest here is not relevant when we are doing NPV. So other cash flows is 5. Other cash flows, 5. Other cash flows, we have 5, 5. Okay. 5, 5. Then accounting depreciation, of course, depreciation is not relevant. So from here, I can get my total cost. I can get my total cost from here. What will be my total cost there? Let me make this one in decimal so that my cash flow will be nicer than this. Let me put 0.00 so that I will have a neat cash flow to do. Okay, 0.00, 0.00, 0.00, 0.00, 0.00. So let me copy out this one here. Put it there. Okay, so our total cost, let's add, we have, let me bring my calculator. Okay, So we have 75 plus 500 plus 75 plus 500 plus 40 plus 5 plus 5. I mean, that is 625, 625.00. 625.00. 625.00. Okay, so I can close this. This is my profit. If this is my profit, sorry, and this is my revenue, what will be the operating, sorry, if this is my cost and this is my revenue, what will be the operating profit? So let's get our operating profit. Operating profit is going to be 800 minus 625. That's 175. 175.00. 175.00. Okay, that's our operating profit. Now, we need to charge capital allowance to get our taxable profit. Capital allowance. Capital allowance. Capital allowance, we're told is at 10%. So 10% of what? 10% of the building cost. 10% of 600 is 60. 10% of 600 is 60. And don't forget, it's for just 10 years. For just 10 years, that's why we have this, Abby. So capital allowance is going to be 60 here. 60.00. This is 60.00. Here, I will not have anything because capital allowance is for just 10 years. Can you see the reason why I divided that 25 years to 10 and 15 now? That's the reason. Here, there should not be capital allowance because capital allowance is for just 10 years. Capital allowance is for just 10 years, which is year 4 to 13. After that first 10 years, the remaining period will not have capital allowance again because you will have fully charged the capital allowance. So this will give me my, what do you call it? Taxable profit. Taxable profit. Now, you need to question what I'm doing here. You need to question it, but you are not doing that. You need to question it. This 115.00 and this is a 175.00. Now, you will see that it is not all these cash flow that, not only this cash flow that we have now. Abi, don't we have other cash flows in the question? Of course we do. But all the other cash flow we have in the question, all the cash flow we have under the additional information, they are not cash flow that will go for 25 years. They are just one year, okay? They are just one year cash flow. Look at it. Redundancy cost is year 4, not 25 years. What again? What do we have there again? We have the demolition cost, 10 million, year 3. Can you see that? They are just one year. So you cannot come and put them here. The moment you put them here, you are treating them for 25 years. That's the reason why I'm not including them here. What we're going to do is that after we have done this, we have to go and what? And sort those other cash flows separately. We call them other cash flow. We do them in a separate table. We're going to do them in a separate table. So these are taxable profit. What's the rate of tax? Tax at what percent? What's our tax rate? Can you give me the tax rate? Tax rate is what? I can't find the tax rate. Where is it? Where's the ID? Okay. Corporation tax is at the rate of 30%. So tax at 30%. Tax at 30%. So 30% of 115 is 0.3 times 115. That is 34.5. 34.5. 175 times 0.3. 52.5. So these are the taxes. The moment you are done with your tax, what do we need to do? We need to go and add back the capital allowance. We add back capital allowance. So capital allowance is 60.00. I mean 60.00, yes. Here we don't have capital allowance. So this will give me my what? My net cash flow. This will give me my net cash flow. This will give me my net cash flow. For here, on the line, this is my net cash flow. This is my net cash flow. So net cash flow is 115 minus 34.5 plus 60. Plus 60. That's 140.47. No. So where is the 7? 115 minus 34.5 plus 60. 140.5. 140.5. That's our net cash flow here. And here is what? It's 175 minus 52.5. That's 122.5. 122.50. Okay, 0.50. That is what? That is the net cash flow. Now we need to discount this, Abby. Discount factor at, we don't know, just hold the constant there. Before we discount, let us go and sort our other cash flows. Let us go and sort our other cash flows. Let me delete all this. We need to sort our other cash flows. Delete entire row. So other cash outflows. Other cash outflows. Other cash outflows. All the other cash flows we are given in the other additional information, they are what? They are all outflows. So let's see then. Let me go and insert table. I think they cannot be more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or let me say 6. Oh, remind me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There can be more than this. If there are more, we add more. So we have here. We now go and start picking them one by one and looking at their years. Okay. Let's go to the note 1. Note 1. Note 1 says that note 1, okay. Whichever part, okay, we don't have cash flow in that. 2, if gas is used, most of the workers at the existing coal power station can be transferred to the new power station. After tax, redundancy costs are expected to be what? 4 million. In which year? In year 4. Redundancy costs will be in year 4. Okay, let's do it this way. Let me have year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. We're still going to need we're going to be needing one more, if not more than, to the right. Okay, so I don't know what will be there. Let's just hold it constant. When we get there, we pick. So we have redundancy cost. That's the first one. redundancy cost. Redundancy cost. So what's the redundancy cost is in year 4. Redundancy cost is in year 4, and it's going to be how much? It's 4 million. Yeah. 4.00 is our redundancy cost. 4.00 is our redundancy cost. Now, after that, let's go and pick the note 3. We don't have cash flow in note 3. Note 4, cost of the building. Cost of building the new power station will be payable in what? In 2 equal installments in 1 and in 2 years' time. So what does that mean? That 600 will be paid twice, in the first year and in the second year. So building cost. Building cost, we are going to pay 300 here, and we pay another 300 here. Okay, that's that. We go to the next information. Note 5, the existing coal fire station will need to be demolished at a cost of what? 10 million after tax in 3 years' time. 3 years' time is end of 3 years, end of the 3rd year rather. So demolition cost. Demolition cost is 10 million in year 3, 10.00 in year 3. Next one is the company equity better. There's no cash flow there. In the note 7, no cash flow. Note 8, no cash flow. Note 9, we have treated that. Note 10, at the end of 25 years of operation, the gas plant is ready to what? To cost 25 million after tax to demolish. Okay, to demolish. So 25 million is what? Is in year what? In 25 years' time. 25 years' time when the project starts, okay, will be year 28, because it is when the project starts, and it's going to be 36 million. Abi, am I correct? 36 million. Sorry, 25 million. It's 25 million. 25 million. So we have 25 million in year what? 25 million in year 28. Why is it 28? Because it's the end of the project that we are going to decommission it. It's at the end of the project. So I think these are all the other cash flows that does not fit in the above computation. All the cash flow we sorted here is not fit to be included here, because the cash flow here, they are all for 25 years. All the cash flow you have here, they are for 25 years. Okay, they are for 25 years. So you cannot go and put those cash flows here. Otherwise, you are telling us that those cash flow also will be 25 years cash flow. So we have finished sorting our cash flows. We can now get our what? Our nets. What's the net cash flow? Net cash flow. Net cash flow here. This will be 300.00, 300.00. This is 10.00. This is a 4.00, and this is 25 point what? 25.00. Okay, I need one more. I need one more space. Insert below. Okay, so we also need what? Discount factor at 1% here now. Discount factor at 1%. Now, we need to go and compute our cost of capital. Let me call that, let me do that under workings. Workings. Put this under workings. So I will call it weighted average cost of capital for what? For gas, because I'm treating gas. Now, going back to the question gave us equity beta. Look at it. We have equity beta. Where do you have that information? The company's equity beta is expected to be 0.7 with gas. So I will use my capital to calculate cost of equity. Okay. And 1.4 for nuclear. So we are dealing with gas. This is the equity beta for gas. So our risk-free rate is what? Let's pick it up once and for all. Risk-free rate is 4.5%. Our market return is 14. So I can compute my cost of equity. I can compute my cost of equity. KE is equal to risk-free plus beta of equity market return minus what? Minus risk-free. So cost of equity is equal to 0.7, sorry, is equal to 4.5% plus 0.7 into bracket 14% minus 4.5%. So cost of equity is equal to 4.5%. Let's do it directly so that we don't waste time. We have 14 minus 4.5 times 0.7 plus 4.5. That is 11.15%. 11.15%. That's our cost of equity. What about cost of debt? Cost of debt. Cost of debt. Cost of debt, we're told, if we are using nuclear, what is the cost of debt if we are using nuclear? Let's go up there. I give that under, I think should be note 3, I mean, should be around note 3 or 4. So, both projects will be financed by what? Euro bond issued denominated in euro. The gas power station will require a bond of what? 8.5%. That's my cost of bond. There's no other cost of bond you can get than this. So just pick it, use this as your cost of bond, 8.5%. Just adjust it for what? For tax. 1 minus 0.3. That will be equal to 8.5 times 0.7. That is 5.95%. 5.95%. Now, what's our gearing? Our gearing is given as let's go and pick our gearing. Okay, gearing, which is debt plus equity plus debt. Debt to equity plus debt is 35%. So 35% is debt, 65% is equity. Sorry, that's for nuclear. That's for nuclear. This for gas. With gas. Okay, no, it's for gas. That's for gas. 35% debt, 65% equity. Okay, that's our gearing. So, value of equity is 65%. Value of debt is 35%. So, what will not be our WACC? Our weighted average cost of capital is equal to cost of equity, which is 11.15%, 11.15% into bracket, equity is 65, equity plus debt is what? 100. Plus cost of debt, 5.95% into bracket, market value of debt, 35, all over equity plus debt, 100. So WACC is equal to 11.15 times 65 divided by 100, 7.25, 7.25% plus 5.95% times 35 divided by 100. That's a 2.08%. 2.08%. So what is our WACC? WACC is equal to 2.08. 2.08 plus 7.25. That's a 9.33. 9.33%. Now, in this question, we have general inflation rate of 3%. Abi? Now, take it as a principle. In any question where you have general inflation rate, if you compute cost of capital in that question, the cost of capital is nominal. Let me repeat it again. In this question, we have what? We have 3% general inflation rate, and we computed our cost of capital. So I'm now saying that in any question where you have general inflation rate, if you compute cost of capital in that question, automatically, the cost of capital that you have computed is what? Is nominal. But our cash flow is real, isn't it? Our cash flow is real. And here you have what? Nominal cost of capital. What do you need to do? You need to convert this what? This 9.33 from nominal to what? To real. So let's convert to real. Real cost of capital. Real cost of capital using Fisher. Using Fisher's equation. Using Fisher's equation. So if we use Fisher's equation, we have real cost of capital to be equal to, 1 plus what? Plus money cost of capital all over 1 plus inflation rate minus 1. Real cost of capital is equal to 1 plus 1 plus, what's the money? Is 0.0933. All over, what is the inflation rate? 3%. 1 plus 0.03. So real cost of capital is equal to 1.0933 all over 1.03 minus 1. So what we have? Final figure. Real cost of capital is equal to 1.0933 divided by 1.03 minus 1 times 100. 6.1%. 6.1%. Or just take it as what? For simplicity, take it as 6%. That is our cost of capital. Real cost of, because my cash flow I real. Now, let's now go and put this 6.1% here. This one will be straightforward anyway. 6.1%. Sorry, let me use 6%. Forget about 1%. 6%. 6% year one is 1.06 raised to power minus 1. That is 0.943. 0.943. 0.943. Then here is what? Raised to power 2. Raised to power 2 is 0.8 is 0.890. 0.890 raised to power 3. Raised to power 3 is 0.840. 0.840 raised to power 4. Raised to power 4 is 0.792. 0.792. And this is raised to power 28. Raised to power 28. That is 0.196. 0.196. Don't forget, all these are costs. Abi, please remember, all these are what? They are costs. Okay, so present value. I close this, I compute my present value. You underline it. Present value. Present value year 1,000. Sorry, 300. 300 times 0.943. That gives us what? 282.9. 282.90. Then here is what? 300 times 0.89, that's a 267. 267. That's 10 times 0.84. 10 times 0.84, 8.4. 4 times 0.792 is a 3.17. And the last one, 25 times 0.196 is a 4.9. 4.9. So you come and put it here. Total PV of other cash outflow will be equal to, don't forget their outflow. Anything outflow is what? It's negative. Anything outflow is negative. So it's going to be, add everything together. 4.9 plus 3.17 plus 8.4 plus 267 plus 282.9. That's a 566.37. 566.37 million. So that's one part of the solution. It's negative. Now, what about the one we have up there? This one here, we need to also what? Discount it using 6%. We are discounting this one as well. Using what? Using 6%. Now, what we do here is we want to what? We want to discount from year 4 to what? From year 4 to 13. Year 4 to 13 is 10 years. Now, you don't just put a raised to power 10. No. What you are going to do is that you will compute annuity factor from year 1 to 13. Let's do it. Let's do it together here. Annuity factor 6%. Year what? Year 1 to 13. Year 1 to 13 will give us what? Let's do that. 1 minus 1.06 raised to power minus 13 divided by 0.06. I have 8.853. 8.853. Now I will now remove, I will less annuity factor, at 6%, year what? Year 1 to 3. Year 1 to 3. So annuity factor of 6% year 1 to 3 will now be 1 minus 1.06 raised to power 1 minus 1.06 raised to power of minus 3 divided by 0.06. We have 2.673. So we remove 2.673 from here. So when you remove 2.673 from here, the balance is for year 4 to 13. You can see that from 1 to 13, we have removed 1 to 3. So we are left with 4 to 13. So this balance is annuity factor 6% year 4. Year 4 to 13. That's the balance we are going to have there. That's the balance we are going to have there. So let's remove it. 8.853 minus 2.673. I have 6.18. 6.180. 6.180. That's my annuity factor that I need to discount this part of what? this part of the cash flow. So I put it there, 6.180. That's the annuity factor I need. Now the second one is from when? It's from year 4 to 28. So I will calculate annuity factor from year 1 to 28. I will remove annuity factor of what? Of year 1 to 13. Okay, so let's go and do that. That is second part. Annuity factor, okay, let me just copy this one down straight without wasting time. Let me copy it down. Okay, so instead of 1 to I have 1 to 28. I have to, instead of 1 to 3 here, we have 1 to what? 1 to 13. The balance will be what? From 14 to 28. Balance will be from 14 to 28. So let's get our figures. 1 minus 1.06 raised to power 1 minus 1.06 raised to power minus 28. Raised to power minus 28 divided by 0.06. This will give me 30.406. 30.406. 30.406. Now, the year 1 to 13 is what we computed up there, 8.853. Just put it there, 8.853. So what is the balance? What is the balance we're going to have? We have 30.406 minus 8.853 minus 8.853. That's 4.553. 4.553. 4.553. 4.553. So I'm going to put it there. 4.553. So underline and let's get our present value. What is the present value? What is the present value? 140.5 times 6.18. That gives me 868.29. 868.29. And the second part is 122.5 times 4.553. That gives me 557.74. 557.74. Okay, so these are the present values. Now, how will I now get my NPV? How will I get my NPV? My NPV is the difference between this one and the what? And the present value of order outlay, which is this. Okay, that will be my NPV. That will be my NPV. So let me put it there. Net present value. Net present value calculation will be PV of year 4 to 13. PV of year 4 to 13. Okay. PV of year 14 to 28. And what? PV of other cash outlays. Other cash outlays. Sorry, other cash outflows, not outlays. Other cash outflows. So for this, we have a 868 point what? Let me copy this one so that I will not be going back and forth. Let me just copy it down. So I have this one for this. I have this one for that. So I remove this completely. So, whereas other outflows, I have 556.37. That is negative 556.37. 556.37. Remove the underline. So now the line will be here. So net present value. So take the aggregate of the three. The aggregate of the three is we have 868.29 plus 557.74 minus 556.37. So the NPV is 869 point what? 869.66. 869.66. 869.66. That is the NPV. That is the NPV of, if we select gas, if we select gas, our NPV is going to be what? If we select gas, our NPV is going to be 869.66 million. Okay. So now we need to do the same thing for nuclear. And however, that will not be today. That will not be today again. I mean, that will not be today again. So what I want to charge you is, you see the way we attempted the one for gas. Can you go and practice and apply the same way? It's the same way. The same way we did this. Now, the only thing is this. Let me explain this to you. Look at the commissioning cost that we're told that it's not what? It's not certain. And it could be what? It could be either 500 or what? Where do I have that information? It could be either 500 or what? Or 1,000 million. How do you treat this? You know it's a cost. It's a decommissioning cost. So as an accountant, you need to be what? You need to be conservative. You need to be conservative. You just apply your conservatism concept. I mean, okay, concept. So don't underestimate cost and don't overestimate revenue. So if I'm not going to underestimate my cost, I should choose what? 1,000 instead of what? Instead of 500. You understand? So choose 1,000 instead of 500 because we are dealing with cost. You want to be sure that your cost is not underestimated. So choose the higher of the two. But if it were to be revenue, I would have choosing the what? I would have chosen the lower revenue. So the principle I apply here is just a conservatism principle. Okay, conservatism principle. So we stop there for today. We meet on Monday by God's grace, and then we continue from there. Any question from me? Any question before we call it a day? Any question?
So many questions, so but not now.
Not now. When?
This
I said not now. You see, until exam approaches.
Number of years.
Okay, just ensure you go through what you are doing, please. If you pile it up, I'm telling you, no miracle will happen. If you are piling up your notes, no miracle.
So this 4 to 13 years and 14 to 28, I don't really understand it. That's the truth.
The project will start when? Now, let me use Dangote Refinery as an example. Okay, Dangote Refinery, they started working on that refinery, I think from 2014 or thereabout, 2010, 2014, right? You know, they'll be putting in place some equipment there, isn't it? Yeah. But as the project starts running, no. The project has not started yet. But the company has been incurring costs over like 8 years now. They've been incurring costs. So from now until that project starts, okay, is what? Let me say year 1 to 8 now. So revenue will start at the end of year 8. The end of year 8 is year 9. I'm using Dangote Refinery as an example now.
Okay.
So if Dangote want to start operation now, the project, let's say it starts in year 2022. So 2022 will be what? Will be the first year of operation. So that's January 2022. And if it is going to run for 25 years, it is from that 2022 that you now start counting 25 years. So meanwhile, in the past 8 years, it's not that there are activities, but all activities that were just what? Installation of necessary machinery. Do you understand now? So that's why I say the first year of this project is year 4. But for the past 3 years, they'll be incurring what? Cost, which is maybe they are constructing the building. You understand? First 3 years is for the construction of the building. So after construction of the building, at the start of year 4, we now start generating revenue and incurring running costs. So that's how we start from year 4. And from that year 4, it will now last for 25 years. From year 4, count 25 years, you get year 28. So, and because capital allowance is for just 10 years, the first 10 years when the project starts is year 4 to 13. Counting from year 4, count 10 years, you have year 4 to 13. And the remaining 15 years will be year 14 to year 28. Is it clear now?
Okay, sir. This
Partially,
4 to 13 years.
yeah.
Eh?
Yes.
That is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, 10 years. Okay.
Don't see that now. That's 10 years.
Okay.
Then 14 to 20 is now 15 years. So 10 plus 15 is 25 years.
Okay, 10 plus
15. We now make 15, 25 years of the project.
Hey, but this 14 to 28, is it 15 years?
Yes, it's 15 years. Count it again. Count it.
Okay. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Okay, 28 years.
Can you see that now? So all you know is 25 years.
This cash flow, this one you did. This one you said PV of year 14 to 13.
Yes.
How you computed it?
Which one? This one?
Yes. This one. To compute year 4 to 13.
To
you
compute
did
year 4
1
to 13
years first.
Yes. You now subtract for 3 years from it.
I have not done it before now, so I'm asking.
You understand?
Yes.
You first do year 1 to 13.
1 to 13. Okay.
You now do year 1 to 3. So remove 1 to 3 from 1 to 13. The remaining is 4 to 13. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir, but I don't think I copied it though. Bye-bye.
Ma?
I don't think I copied it though. This
You didn't copy it?
Someone taking.
Yeah, take your phone and snap it.
Okay. I've snapped it.
Okay. So we are going to meet on Monday by God's grace, and we continue from where we stopped. Thank you. Have a wonderful night.
Good night.